All right, we are recording. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I just got a delivery.
All good? It's not quite as ready I was hoping as I would be at 10. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Is this being recorded?
This should be recorded. I hit record and it said record.
It is recording.
Okay. All right, so the first place I'm starting from is this merge request. I hit open file, and that's why I've got this here. And I believe 12.0 to 12.1 is it's the one that has the Postgres upgrade as well. Is that right? So I need to also know about something special for this version upgrade, right? And I don't actually remember where. I don't know if I've had that doc open. Oops. GitLab upgrade 12.0. Is it? Oh, yeah. Is it not in here? Mm-hmm.
I can tell you where it is.
Yeah, this is actually a kind of indicative of the problem. We have 12.0 and 12.2 here. No. Okay, could you tell me where it is? I don't know where it is.
So the instructions for Geo are in the Geo documentation.
Okay. Aha. Aha, okay. That's problem number one. Does someone have the doc open? Okay. So I'm going to start here since this is the version specific instructions and it says do this before updating. Oh, go ahead.
Does it say that?
By default, it will attempt to automatically update. See here for the recommended procedure. It can automatically upgrade the database on your servers. If you want to skip the auto upgrade before you install 12.1, this. Oh. Okay. So let's do this. at the moment. I just have the primary HA app 01 node open or SSH into. And there's nothing returning from this command.
I can share with you that I have observed that as well.
Okay.
And I think that, yeah, that may just indicate that no named like replication slot is there, but I don't know myself.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, there's no record from PG replication slots. That seems like it would be a problem. I'm just going to double check that, you know, things are running normally as expected. Okay, so the secondary is up. I believe I've checked last week that, you know, replication was working. So I don't know. I don't have an explanation for this here. So I'm going to see if it's possible for me to continue from here, upgrade the package on the primary, upgrade the package on the secondary, reinitialize the database on. Okay, so I think, is it the case that these are the instructions for if we do want Postgres to be updated, and this is the instruction for if we just want to skip that this time. Okay, so since, I don't know, since this doesn't seem to be working, then we're going to have to not do that.
I mean, that's it's an interesting question. So I have done this on a non-HA system, following those instructions, and I think it has worked. In some installations, it has failed in others. But I think the first question is like, is it okay that that returns nothing, right? And I think,
Yeah.
I think honestly, like I'm more interested in understanding how we can actually upgrade the database.
Okay, I see.
On. But it's a good. I'm making notes in the Geo discussions to say like, this returns nothing. Is that expected? And if so, you know, we should explain that.
I may have some insights here. So the replication slots, they will only be available before we upgrade the database from 9.6 to 10.7, 10. Something. If we installed GitLab the way that it is on our documentation, we do the replication using a replication slot, which is something that the Postgres keeps some metadata about how many and which different instance is replicating from. So if you have like 3 other Postgres servers replicating from a primary, it knows which one is like the one that is lagging the most. So it knows at each point it can dump the WoW logs that are already replicated. So if we didn't set up with replication slots, then there is no replication slot to see. But from what I tested, if we do the automatic upgrade, it removes all replication slots. So.
Oh, okay. So in the meantime, I have SSH'd into the Postgres node on the primary, and apparently this now returns something. So it seems to be something to do with we can't run this command from a different node. Is that?
So you ran it on the secondary?
No, I ran it on the primary Postgres node.
But the GitLab PSQL command may be not pointing to the primary Postgres. I think we have an open issue for that. So you have to specify like -h and the host name.
Okay. That's interesting, because I thought that GitLab pSQL would use the correct connection info, but okay. So I suppose if we put into the instructions here, run on the node that is running the Postgres database, that this would work. And additionally, if there's an issue for, like, as Gabriel said, running pSQL on a different node, then that would be helpful as well. All right, so now that we have the slot name, I guess we can continue. So interestingly, this says upgrade the package on the primary, upgrade the package on the secondary. But that's kind of like just pretty different from the multi-node HA instructions.
I think the first thing to note here is that I don't think these instructions were written with HA in mind.
Right.
Is my impression, looking at this.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you could say that upgrading GitLab EE and on the primary and secondary is still correct, but that entails very different things depending on your setup, right?
Yeah.
From top of mind, the correct flow should be upgrading the primary, the master node, the master Postgres on the primary node. Then you need to do the replicas as a second step, and then as a third thing, you do the same thing for the secondary nodes.
Okay. So you're saying, when you say replicas, you mean if there are any replicas in the primary cluster?
Yes, if you have HA on the primary, you probably have at least one master and one slave.
So we could say that step number 2 and 3 could be rewritten to assume HA, or we need to have separate instructions here for HA versus non-HA?
We should probably have different things for HA, but the idea is that after you upgrade the Postgres that is the one that can do writing, all the others needs to dump the database and redo the replication. It doesn't matter if it's on the primary cluster or on the secondary cluster.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see.
Yeah. But I think you're right, Mike, that essentially this should be amended to say, if you are running a single node installation, do this. If you're running multi-node HA, follow the like multi-node HA instructions that also still don't exist. So
yeah, okay. Okay, so next step here is to upgrade this node that we're looking at, the primary HA PostgreSQL. Yeah. Oh, I think we need to be careful here because in the regular upgrade instructions, like you need to be sure to do things like skip auto reconfigure and turn off auto migrate, but I suppose the Postgres node already does not do it's not running Rails, so this shouldn't matter. I'm not 100% sure about this. I think we'll go with not doing these two things on the Postgres node that we're going to upgrade. I assume reconfigure actually needs to happen when we do that upgrade. Okay, so if anybody has any thoughts, please chime in. Otherwise, that's what I'm thinking at the moment.
I mean, again, you know, I know way less than anybody here on the call, so what I say may be completely wrong. I thought, you know, once you've sort of gotten the replication slot here, right, which by the way just prints out something, right, doesn't really modify any state, right? I would have said follow the instructions for a multi-node upgrade, and then at the end, you know, perform the step number 4, which is reinitializing the database. Because that is kind of how I read these instructions. It's like, find your slot name, do a regular upgrade. Then in the end, you need to reinitialize this.
Yeah, I could see that, and that does make sense, I think. I think you could actually do it just upgrading the Postgres nodes first by themselves, just because the only thing that you're doing is changing the you're upgrading. You're basically what you're doing here is you're just upgrading Postgres, the server, the Postgres server. But
I think it's your choice. Like, we have no precedent for doing this, so.
Okay. I suppose there's another factor, which is it's possible that there's like code in GitLab that depends on no, never mind, because we are allowed to skip the upgrade. Okay, we'll go the way that you mentioned, which is it looks here like we're saying upgrade everything, and then we come back and reinitialize the database replication. That makes sense. Let's do that. Okay. Whew. Now we can kind of start. Okay, so pick a node to be deploy node. I will pick the primary HA app 01, create an empty file.
Just another quick side note.
Yes.
Are these the multi-node HA instructions for Geo?
Is it? Oh, okay. Thank you for stopping me. Okay, I was in the wrong section. Primary multi-node deployment will be updated first, followed by secondary multi-node deployment. Yeah, it's good that we have plans to automate upgrading, because this is so, there's so many ways to do this wrong.
I think that's a polite way of phrasing that.
Okay, we've got the deploy node, create an empty file. This will prevent reconfigure and migrations. Okay. And we have to do this on all nodes. Okay. That's a lot of nodes. Oh, this is speaking only about the primary, huh?
It is.
Okay. So just to check, looking at the secondary instructions, we're going to have to do that, but we don't have to do that now.
Yeah, I already made a note that that is confusing, and it may be improvement to say on all nodes on the primary to repeat it.
Yes, or someone could read the instructions, but that's all right. Okay, so this node is, I'm just gonna actually run it on all of them because I don't want to get stuck in the middle. And okay, so we've done it actually on the primary and secondary. On all other nodes, not the deploy node, ensure that GitLab Rails auto migrate is false. Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
For anyone that missed that, I'm working at my wife's office at the moment because we have our baby for this week without daycare.
Ah,
Sorry about that.
I thought you were working directly, opposite the Golden Gate Bridge in the sunset.
Okay, so I see that we don't have auto migrate equals false in primary HA app 01. Oh, excuse me, not the deploy node. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. Okay. Ensure nodes are running the latest code. Oh, okay. Reconfigure. So this is all other nodes, not the deploy node. On the deploy node on the primary cluster, update the GitLab package. Okay.
So here, just one addition. I think we want to upgrade to a specific version, right? So you may want to specify that in apt. Otherwise, we will skip to 12.2 point something.
Okay, right. I don't remember how to find the. Oh, I have found this before. Okay, so we have 12.1.9. I think that's the syntax, but I'm going to double check.
Yep, it is.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to use this command. On the deploy node. Oh, my meeting will end in 10 minutes. That's not good. We have more than 10 minutes here to do. So does anybody have, well, I could just restart the meeting.
Maybe Fabian can take over and upgrade the meeting.
Oh, sorry, what am I supposed to do?
I think you have like the paid version, the paid subscription to Zoom, maybe.
Oh yeah, I do actually.
So do I need to transfer it to you, or can you take it over?
For the recording.
Yeah, is that possible? Oh, I can make you host.
Yeah,
I'll do that. Okay, there we go.
I think I'm recording now.
I see a recording symbol on you. Okay, perfect. Although it still says remaining meeting time 8:45 for me.
I also have to drop off for half an hour at the hour, so I have another 30 minutes. But I'll be back.
I actually have a support call that I was going to help on, unless somebody else wanted to join that half an hour from now. So maybe we'll end it at that time, and we'll see where we are. I mean, I think we should be most of the way through, hopefully. Okay. All right, copy this. Deploy node on the primary cluster. Update and install. to get the regular database migrations in place, run reconfigure skipping post-deployment migrations.
By the way, I can't see the bottom of your terminal anymore.
Oh, you can't?
Can't.
Okay, that's interesting. So we're just waiting for the package to upgrade. We're going to run the pre-deploy migrations, and we cannot run the upgrade on anything else until the migrations have, the pre-deploy migrations have run. Okay, now we're going to run the pre-deploy migrations.
Yeah, one question that I'm interested in, and I don't know how this will play out, is I'm pretty sure upgrading Postgres will require downtime. And I'm not sure how that will happen on an HA installation. Or if it's going to be fine, I don't know.
It should require downtime.
Yeah, but for what, right? For the Postgres node, or I don't know.
So worst case scenario, or the best case scenario would be that considering they are using PG bouncer or something like that, whenever the primary goes down to be upgraded, the master Postgres, you have a downtime there. And when it goes up, you can route everything to that node. So there's like this minimal amount of downtime. And after that, you can start restoring every other follower. The only other way to not have a downtime would be to have a feature toggle on GitLab that put the whole installation as read-only. But we don't have that, so there is no way to not have a downtime.
For the primary, yeah, for the primary, the downtime will be very short, right? Like just, well, will there be downtime at all on the primary?
It depends on the size of the database. You still have to do the PG upgrade. It can be a few seconds, a few minutes, several minutes. It depends on how big the installation is.
Hmm. So I wonder if it would be worth putting in the Geo, upgrading a Geo instance to 12.1 instructions. Like there will be a lot of downtime on the secondaries, but the primary will be much less. So I wonder if it would be worth letting people know that that's the case. Okay, so it's almost done upgrading the package on all of the primary nodes. And then we're going to reconfigure them. I guess I can start doing that. All right, nodes that are running Unicorn or Sidekick, I believe are just Apo1 and Apo2. So we'll run that there. And oh, that's still running that thing. That's okay.
The impatience. Can you have a look for me at the Redis server?
Yeah. Ah. Okay.
Could you take a note of that error message?
Yeah. No auth, but authentication is required.